Vinyl community, hello. This is a much more straightforward. I hate to turn down Leon. I'm gonna do that. Don't too loud there, Leon. Some more straightforward vinyl finds post here. Adjust my seating. Have a sip of tea. Is it still morning somewhere? I think in Hawaii it's still morning. It's a little afternoon here, 12:35. But anyway, this is a more straightforward vinyl finds that I just picked up by going to the store yesterday and getting some things in the mail. So I thought I'd do a small pile of things. Try to keep this quick. I've been meaning to get into Leon Russell for a while. I've always loved his music, his voice. Working with Joe Cocker, Mad Dog's an Englishman, just great. So I was in the record store the other day, and I came upon another Leon Russell album. I'm going to go through this one first because this is what's playing. And I don't know if anybody recognizes this. I certainly didn't. It's called Look Inside the Asylum Choir. And it is, I had my information, I had to look up the information for this one. It's, the songs are by Leon Russell and Mark Benno. And those are basically the two people who write for this. And when I looked it up, this is Leon Russell's second album. It came out in 1968. And I listened to it for the first time this morning. This is the first time I'm putting it through. This is what's playing right now. I love it. I think it's great. I mean, I like Leon Russell's voice. I like his piano playing. But I've never owned any of his music. And so, I mean, his regular albums. And so, kind of starting off early here in 1968, his second release. Also, what caught my eye was this cover. And I saw that, and I saw that this was probably an early album. Or it just seemed that way when I looked at the cover and all. And here on the cover was a cover of a roll of toilet paper. I thought, that's pretty scarce. If this is what I think it is, something from, say, 1968, it didn't last too long. And I'll bet that it was pulled pretty quick and they made another album cover for it. And lo and behold, they did, from what I understand. It makes me think of Mama's and Papa's first album, where they're all in the bathtub, and then they had the toilet off to the side in the bathroom, and then it was eventually covered up with a little poster type rectangular area that they listed information about the album. But anyway, yeah, this is Look Inside the Asylum Choir, and I love the tile in the bathroom. Here it actually has peace symbol, Asylum Choir, photos of some of the guys in the band, and that's repeated all over. And the back of it is great. It's like a solarized photo here of Leon, and he's reaching over and peeling away the cover, revealing Leon, and just hearing about Mark Benno. I'll have to do some more research about him, find out where he's gone, what he's done. And what's great is there's very strange, I don't know how, this strange illustrated man behind them. And it is a gatefold, and it's one of those albums that I'm not fond of, where you have to open it up to take the album out. But here is the full-on gatefold of it, the inside. This eventually became the cover of the album. If you buy the CD now, which there's a CD that has extra tracks of this, which I just ordered. After hearing the album, I love the album. This is the cover that's on there, this picture on the inside. And I looked at some of the other photos that buyers or fans of the album had uploaded. I couldn't find anything that had this imagery. So they may not even have this imagery on the CD release, which I think would be ridiculous. They should definitely have that. They should have restored it, although this is arguably a much more interesting album cover. But anyway, great photo here, the band, information. What I love, and this is what I love about used records, is You can tell that it's the vinyl itself is near mint minus, maybe near mint. I don't know. It sounds good. A couple of pops and ticks here and there. Visually, it looks great. It's on the Smash label of Mercury Records, and they've got that information right here up in the corner. I love that. Smash Mercury labels, stereo, and then it says playable on modern monaural equipment. So there you go. But again, like I love about a lot of used records, there is a nice little message here from someone, and he left his name, G. Cooper, and then he nicely drew a little peace symbol. Can only assume this is the original owner from 1968. So a little message of peace from 1968 from G. Cooper. Thank you, G. Cooper, whoever you are, wherever you are. Hopefully you're still with us. Message received in 2012. So thank you. There's also another set of initials here, TS. I don't know if this is part of the original album or not. It's actually kind of hard to tell. It might be part of the original artwork of the album, although I don't know. I have a feeling it's someone else owned this after Mr. Cooper did, or Ms. Cooper, for all I know. And their initials were TS. But this is just a great album, and I'd like to hear from anybody who's familiar with this album, has heard it before. I don't think there's any. I should have looked for any surprises inside. No surprises inside. But I love it. It's definitely Leon Russell, but it's Leon Russell doing, some pop psych music, or having that thrown in. Side one is a collection of pop songs, and they go back and forth between Mark and Leon. And I believe this song is definitely a Mark Benno song. You hear his voice more than Leon's on it. Leon's voice is so distinctive. But side two is really interesting. It's 3 tracks. Track one being 3 songs sort of put together, with track one almost being a sound collage, or part one of that 3-song song being a kind of a sound collage. It's called New York. I think it's NY Op. And you hear a New York City operator talking to somebody while there's all these sound effects going on, and it's really interesting. And that's actually that first track is called Episode Containing 3 Songs. So you get 3 songs, and they're great songs. So, I highly recommend it. And the only unfortunate thing about this is the album cover has seen some duty, and the as in DUTY. It's in pretty good shape considering, but the spine is slowly fading away here. It's not terribly bad, but it's not terribly good either. You can still read the information on the side, but very cool. And I immediately found it on online and bought a copy of it on CD with bonus material. Highly recommend it if you're a Leon fan, and I'd be curious to know anybody else who has this or has more information about it. I immediately went to Wikipedia and started looking up information. So, anyway, and more importantly, who is this interesting man in the back here that's been illustrated in? I'm kind of curious about that. Don't know how the focus does as I get close to the camera there. Anyway, this might end up being a long post. I'll try to make this a relatively quick post. The next one I got yesterday was, actually, this is the first thing I saw, was Leon Russell and the Shelter People. This just came out. The Asylum Choir came out in '68. This came out in '70, and this was one of 2 albums that was released in 1970 by Leon Russell. This is more of a straight-ahead Leon Russell album that you would expect. It's all Leon, and he's doing covers. He's got original songs. He's doing covers, Bob Dylan covers. He even does a George Harrison cover, "Beware of Darkness." Really great album. One thing I'm curious about, again, if anybody has information about this, I'd be curious. Here's the record, and you notice on the album cover down here has this little egg with an upside down Superman logo, and that's fine. There were 2 copies of this, and an unknown person is calling me. Oh, that's nice. 2 copies of this, and covers. This was the better of the 2, but the vinyl, the label on the inside had that egg with the upside down Superman logo, and it was unaltered. But this one has got a black bar pressed across it. Now I don't know if that was an issue with the Superman logo, because the other one didn't have the black bar on it. So I thought that was interesting. Maybe they had to go through and stamp out the Superman logo on this one. I'm not sure. Probably should have bought that one as well, since it didn't have the logo, Superman logo stamped out. But here it is on the cover, so they didn't have any problem with it being on the cover. Don't know. Interesting little historical question there. Let me put this away. Okay, shouldn't be too many long descriptions about LPs after this. Sort of go through these as fast as I can. This was the Mobile Fidelity release of B-52s, which first album, which came out a couple years ago, and I passed on it. Well, I got a Christmas Amazon card from my sister, and I used it to buy this among a couple other things. And so I'm glad I got it. I think these are eventually going to be, they're usually limited edition, and B-52s are great, and I was really happy to get that. I've got a couple other things in the mail, and a lot of times I've noticed that some people will use other album covers to protect the album that they're putting in. They're sending to you. And this is something, Musica Helvetica, pop music from Switzerland. Not too much interest in and there's no vinyl in it. It's, in fact, the album cover is barely, But what was cool about it is this album cover, a photo of a mosaic. I don't know what the mosaic is from, but it's just beautiful. I really love it. I love the album cover. And so I'm going to keep this around, maybe do something with it to make it more visible. And I'd be curious to know what mosaic this is from. Maybe there's a way to find out here in the back. But anyway, yes, pop music from Switzerland, maybe not so much, but which is fine. But the album cover, very cool. Picked up. I'm trying to get back some of the. I have a lot of my original XTC vinyl, but this is the Big Express and the original UK cutout of the wheel, and the inner sleeve with the cover photo of the band. It's a great album of theirs. Big Express by XTC has the artwork on the label, the inner label. The interesting thing about this is, and I wish I had the regular 12x12 album cover, but and I don't think you can see it on this. And this is what I heard in a interview with Andy Partridge about this. Yeah, this is a really neat first edition of it that has the die cut of the wheel. But if you get the 12x12 that extends all the way out, it's just black, people would think. And so what's so special about it? Well, if you look very closely, if you have the 12x12 version of this, and you look very closely to right about this area on the wheel, you will see a little teeny tiny grasshopper, very small green grasshopper right here. And he pointed out that was the whole point of the album cover, was here is this big wheel of industry, this big locomotive wheel, and it is about to roll and crush this poor little insect, this poor little guy, this poor little creature of nature. And or actually, given the looks of this wheel, it wasn't really going to be doing very much at all. But actually, it could be also, this little creature crawling up on top of this this wheel that doesn't look like it's actually functioning at all. So he has a number of songs that hearken to nature to reclaim the world and undo a lot of what we've done with it. So I think that was just a little statement of his, and he pointed that out in an interview, saying that was the point of the album cover, and when they cut this, they cut out that grasshopper. So find a 12x12 and take a look and find the little grasshopper right about this area, right about the 4 or 5 o'clock location. And that's that. This is an album that this is a band called the Nits, I do Sweet Bonhoff. Probably my favorite album of theirs. They're from, I believe, the Netherlands. I'm not 100% sure. But this band, in the 80s, this band would sort of fill the gap that XTC would leave when in between their albums. I would be looking for the Nits and playing their music. And, let's see. Oh, end of side one. I'll be right back. Okay, side two of that Leon Russell Asylum Choir LP. This is where you hear the sound collage and the crazy one song with 3 songs in it right at the beginning here. Very cool. But back to the Nits. This is probably my favorite album of theirs. Every album of theirs is sort of a change in their music. I had a number of their albums and I'm now going back to find them, and this is like having an old friend back in my hands. And on this, the songs, one song will sound like Joe Jackson, one song will have, not exactly, but you're like, oh, that sounds like something Joe Jackson would have written, or Elvis Costello, chord progressions, or even vocals. You hear a lot of 80s bands, a lot of 80s influence on each individual song as you're listening to this. So, very happy. I think this is found this locally, and import on the CBS label. So, another favorite, the album before this, which was called Omsk, maybe. Very good album. So, happy to have this. And, there's that phone. Somebody get that phone. It's that New York operator. Something picked up yesterday in a record store was Dave Edmunds, Subtle as a Flying Mallet. I have a couple of Dave Edmunds LPs, and happy to pick this one up to add that to the collection. Big Dave Edmunds, Rockpile fan. I believe he was in Love Sculpture, which is a band that I am interested in looking into more. I've known he's been in that band for a while. I've known about it, but I just haven't gone there. Pretty straightforward issue of Volume 2 of the best of Jethro Tull, but I never owned these on vinyl, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And Volume 2 has this nice, great illustration here, and it has the embossed wording, Chrysalis Records, so this was an easy pickup. This was $1 buy. Now, when I was younger, I had the box set. I've still got the box set. I haven't looked at the vinyl in a while to see what condition it's in, but this is volumes 1 and 2. I got this for $1. The vinyl's in great shape. Chicago at Carnegie Hall. Even has one of the posters. It doesn't have all the posters. It has one of the posters. I don't know if they ever issued this again with volumes 3 and 4 separately. Maybe they did. So I have to take a look and see if there's volumes 3 and 4. Do this later. Save time. Another $1 pick that I got yesterday was this, and these are I'm actually starting to be interested in collecting a lot of these. Some of them are expensive, some of them aren't. This one wasn't. It was $1, and this is a Columbia Records compilation. So nice, straightforward. Columbia Records, nice label, great shape. I think it was bought and was never played, but somebody decided that side 1 was the good side. It has a little silver star on there. Let me see, put this away. So, great cover. It's got Piece of My Heart by Big Brother and the Holding Company, Time Has Come Today, the Chamber Brothers, I Can't Quit Her, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, The Wait, Mike Bloomfield and Al Cooper, 8 Miles High by the Byrds, Omaha by Moby Grape, Stone Cold Picnic, Stone Soul Picnic, My Laura Nero. I knew I was going to say that wrong because I said it wrong when I read it a couple of times and I corrected myself in my head. White Rabbit, Great Society with Grace Slick, Suzanne, Leonard Cohen, Sonny, Electric Flag and You Don't Miss Your Water by Taj Mahal. It's a great collection for a buck. Can't go wrong, in great shape, so I nabbed that. And last but not least, I have to do something because I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I wasn't better set up here because you have such an interesting name. And I know it was just recently that you responded to me. Will it come to my head in time? There it is. Glass Orchid Aftermath. You. Yes, you. I blame you. Actually, I don't blame you. I thank you. I wanted to make sure I got your handle right. Yesterday when I was at Silver Platters, I sort of asked them, I said, you got a copy of that Wheels Groove box? I know you had a couple of them left over from Black Friday Record Store Day. And they said, well, let me look. And they found one finally. They have a huge warehouse of a place. I showed it to you on my clip that I did of where I go to buy records. But they have a very small window where they display things. It's literally like this big. That's about this big. But the way I enter the store, I never see it unless I park, and I was on foot. And so they found one, and they finally realized, it must be on display. And yes, it was on display. And I picked it up because these are pretty much going to be extinct pretty soon. I'm not going to do an unboxing. Thank you very much for doing one. That was a great job, and there's no way I could top that. So everybody, if you want to see what's in here, go to... I hate myself. I can't remember names. I swear, it's the word, not even people's. And I had this saved here. Now I can't remember. Glass Orchid Aftermath. Thank you. Glass Orchid Aftermath. How do you forget a name like that? And there's something for us. If you haven't done it already, why did you pick that name? Interesting. You probably already said so, but this is number 968 of 2000, and looking forward to diving into this when I've swam around in all this other music that I've got to swim around in. So look up his unboxing of this box set. It's great job. And this is the end of my regular post, my normal post. So see you folks later. Enjoying everything everybody's doing. I'm approaching 100 subscribers. I'm at 97. And thank you all very much. I think when I first started posting, and I posted my introduction and all that, I got a bunch of subscribers, and I didn't really thank everybody appropriately. I never went into everybody's comments and said something, and I think I just put a blanket. Thank you very much, because I was still unfamiliar with how the structure was on YouTube to do that. So thank you all very much. Thanks for watching, and we'll be seeing you later. Have some more tea here. Yum. Bye-bye. Bye for now.